Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. My name is Sage Goldenberg, and I am the owner of Beautifully Organized, a full service organizing company, as well as the Moving Genie, focusing more on downsizing and moving. I've been a professional organizer here in Toronto for just over 10 years after making a move here from Kansas City. So here we all are working from home. It's become our new abnormal. Nothing seems quite normal anymore. And for a lot of us, this is unknown territory. You're having to create your own work schedules. You're setting new routines. You're finding social connection when you're more or less alone and maybe never changing out of your sweatpants again. So really, my hope for you by the end of this webinar is I've equipped you with tools that you need to feel confident in your work environment, and you can feel focused and ready whatever the day brings for you. So we're going to cover creating a powerful morning routine that empowers you, scheduling your day in a way that maximizes your productivity, setting work boundaries to ensure that your time and space is respected, create a dedicated workspace in any nook and cranny in your home, finding areas of accountability that you can tap into in your life, discuss technologies that will make life easier now, and how you can do all of that and everything else that you're doing and still stay motivated. So, we'll start with a powerful morning routine because what you do after you wake up sets the tone for the whole day. A short morning routine can make a profound impact on your energy and productivity levels. I have a short presentation that I've put together on habits, and I will make sure that I send that to everyone after this presentation. It dives deeper into new habit formation and how to get habits to stick. However, for today, we'll specifically discuss the morning routine. So you want to start with a collection of 3 to 4 things that you do to ground yourself to prepare for the day. At this point, you want to keep distractions away. No email, no social media. There's plenty of time for that during the day. Keep this time sacred. And a habit that was really easy if you're struggling to come up with 3 or 4 things is making your bed. It's one of the best things that you can do to start your day because it's so wisely pointed out by a US Navy admiral. His name is William McRaven, and he wrote extensively on the advantages of making your bed first thing in the morning. But essentially, he said, if you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. If you gives you this sense of pride and will encourage you to do another task and another and another. So you're building on that and building momentum, which is a great way to establish habits. And that's really what we're talking about when we're looking at the morning routine. So a morning routine might be as simple as waking up, you make your bed, you have your cup of coffee, you stretch for 5 minutes, you have a shower, and you're ready. You know that that means it's time to start the day. You've done a few things that are good for your body, your mind, your soul, and now you're ready to get at it. So my morning routine is a few things that are essential for me, but it essentially all revolves around exercise. So I wake up, I make my bed, I make breakfast for my son, and then I immediately work out. And as I'm saying this out loud, I know it sounds a little ridiculous, a little impossible, a little time consuming. However, I spend no more than 30 minutes doing it. I do it in my living room. I need no more than the space of a mat. And sometimes I have the added benefit of a 40-pound toddler on my back. So I follow that up with a protein shake and a shower, and I'm ready for my day. I have an app that I use. I've used it for years. It's called Tone It Up. And it really mixes up the exercises, which is great. I can use it anywhere, and it has a great feature where I'm able to go in and see all of the different workouts I've done on different days. So that's a huge motivator for me as well. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So if you're not familiar with Keystone Habits, As it says on the screen, it's a small change or a habit that people introduce into their routine that unintentionally carry over into other aspects of their lives. So, exercise affects me in several areas of my life. It gives me more energy, it helps regulate my mood, I feel good about myself, it sets the tone for the day. So, um, not to mention while we're sitting here stuck at home, it gives me an opportunity to move, which we can all have a little more of that these days. But there's other examples of keystone habits as well. Making your bed is a great example. Eating family dinners, food journaling, even your shower or bath can be a keystone habit in your day that you find can carry into accomplishing other things. New habits, I understand, are not always easy to form, and there are apps that can make it a little more fun and easy to develop and continue to follow through on habits. One is called Done. It helps create and stick to new goals through a common practice called Chain. So, this is the technique that I find helpful with my exercise app. When I go in and see that every day has a workout next to it, I feel incredibly accomplished and I don't want to break that chain. So, not breaking that chain for me is a way to continue my habit and to keep it going. So, again, as discussed, I'll go into more detail and that on the habits presentation that I'll follow up with at the end of this one. So, you've created a solid morning routine. Now we'll move into your workday. And finding a work schedule that fits your needs is key. You have to consider work style, habits, and your energy cycles. All three of those things will play factors into what your days look like working at home. What I find very helpful is setting my days up into sprint work sessions. So for me, it's great that I can work for 45 minutes and then I have a 15-minute break. It gives me dedicated time to work on a task, to have a meeting, to fill whatever it is I need to do within that time and whatever it is that I need to get done. And then I have a break. It's an hour. So when I look at my calendar, it's really easy for me to figure out the number of tasks and meetings that I can undertake in a day because I'm looking at it hour by hour and I can estimate from there. But you might find that every 45 minutes with a 15-minute break is too often and that you're finding it too hard to switch back and forth between those tasks. So make it a little longer. Make your sprint an hour and a half with a half an hour break. And that way you're able to get a bit more work done. You're still giving yourself the break, but you're just working it in a way that makes sense for you and your work style. If you are working for that long, though, make sure you stand up every once in a while, maybe a micro break, and look off in the distance and give your eyes a break just so you can keep going. The other thing to think about is being realistic with the number of tasks you can accomplish in a day. I keep a top 3 list. It keeps my goals focused, it keeps my productivity high, and I feel accomplished at the end of the day because I've finished all or most of what was on my task list, which makes it easier for me to go into the next day feeling like I've accomplished what I need to accomplish and I'm moving projects and goals forward. If you already keep your goals, your tasks on your phone, I highly recommend Commit 3. It's a simple app that helps you easily track the top 3 priorities in your day. So, and similar to a bullet journal, it will keep track of past to-do items that you haven't completed so you don't lose track of them day to day, and you can make sure that everything is filtering through and getting done. You're also able to share this with teams. So if you have a work team that you want to share this with, if you have a group that you've put together that you want to stay accountable with, this is a great way to do it through this app. Another fun app is Forest. So this one's a little bit different, but definitely fun. So the University of California has suggested that we're interrupted about every 3 minutes, and it takes us on average 23 minutes to fully focus back in on what we were doing before we were interrupted. So you can see this will snowball into a problem into the day with, especially as we don't have as much structure around our time right now. So this app allows you to grow a tree while you focus. So you can set a timer, you pick a tree, and you do your work, and you come back to it, and voila, you have a tree. Um, you can create your own focus forest as you grow more trees and more trees. But if you open your phone too soon, your phone dies, or your phone dies. Your phone could die, but the tree dies. And so it does have some accountability there where you don't want your tree to die. Therefore, you're going to focus in and go from there. If you're looking for something a little more concrete or data driven, Be Focused is also a great option. It has a timer, graphs, and categories to help you track your work, complete task, breaks, duration of your workday. The interface is pretty, it's easy to use, and it also incorporates simple tools like calendar blocking and putting your phone on Do Not Disturb, which are also great options to integrate into helping you stay focused in your workday. When I sent out the invitation for this registration, you should have received a link to a color blocking video I did for your calendar. It's a short video. If you don't know what I mean by that, check out the video and and find out why it's such an effective time management tool for you and your calendar. So this is a great time to talk about multitasking. I'm sure that even as you're following along to this presentation, you're probably doing at least one other thing. And I get it. I do it sometimes also, but the truth is we are not wired to be efficient multitaskers. By the time you're trying to do this and a little bit of that and stay connected to everything, you're not really connected to anything. And this is true for tasks and relationships and work. It's better if we do it one at a time. So I encourage you over the next day to really focus on what you're doing. Take one thing at a time and follow that activity through. And if you have to come back to it, stop to move on to whatever took your attention at that moment. But I think what you'll find is that you're getting more done and you're more connected to the people that are around you. As we continue to think about our workday, it's important to look at how our energy flows. We all peak at different times. Some of us are morning people. Some of us might have rolled out of bed just before lunch, but we work well into the evening. No judgment. Either way, it's important to notice and acknowledge your energy peaks and valleys. For routine to work around them is extra important because if you find that you're most productive in the morning, schedule all of your hard tasks then. When you're ready, you want to hit the ground running, make sure that you're getting the hard things out of the way so that when your energy slumps in the afternoon, you're not left with a to-do list of a bunch of hard things that you have to work through. And if you are finding the afternoons are a little bit harder, schedule in some time for a short nap or maybe an audiobook, something easy that you can enjoy. Never, ever, ever underestimate the power of a short nap. So it's a great time to talk about work boundaries because hand in hand with a good work routine is work boundaries. And boundaries is one of my favorite topics because in my experience, nothing ever got worse because of strong boundaries. And work can be all consuming these days. And we might be in crisis mode or we might just be bored at home. But either way, we probably find that we're in this habit of never leaving work and never really having any downtime. And especially now, we need time to relax. Under normal circumstances, a Gallup poll suggests that teleworkers are working on average 4 more hours a week, so 16 hours more a month than an office worker. And I can almost guarantee you that over the last month and a half, this number has soared. So if we're able to stay focused, if we're able to create a solid work routine and get our work done within those working hours, we don't have to be working exorbitant numbers through our week. So I am giving you permission today to set strong work boundaries. So let's look at what that means. We have to create work hours, and we need to let those around us know what our work hours are and what our home hours are. It's important for our coworkers and our employees, our clients, our business partners to know our work hours, but it's also really important for our family to know our work hours so that they know when we're available. This allows you to have work time and it gives you permission to shut off. Don't answer emails after hours. Don't send emails after hours. If you find it helpful when implementing this new routine, set up an autoresponder that responds back, letting your correspondent know these are my work hours and this is when I'll get back to you. So you're not ignoring them, especially if you're one to get back right away. You're not ignoring them. You'll just get back to them within their work hours. Okay, so after looking at a solid morning routine, we've got a good work routine going with some really good boundaries. We need a place to do all of this work. So let's quickly look at the importance of a dedicated workspace. So our brains are very, very good at association. So meaning that when we set up an area in our home to work and we go there every day, our brain is going to associate that spot with working. And so when we go there, it's going to help us get into work mode because we know that this is where we work. So it's important to have your supplies there and let other people in the home know this is your workspace. So similar to your work hours, when you are here in your work hours, you are working. Now, I have a toddler at home, so I understand that some of our coworkers are understanding of our requests a little more than others, but just try it and continue to let them know that this is your workspace and these are your work hours. Another key for me is headphones, noise canceling if possible, and find something you enjoy listening to. I love the Spotify Spotify morning classical music, their playlist, but there's zillions out there, or a podcast, but something that helps you focus and set you into work mode. So just to drive the point home, these are examples of desks. So it can be anything. If you need a standing desk and you don't have one, set up an ironing board next to your regular desk and you can stand there, or use the top shelf of your bookcase if you're able to plop your computer up there and stand. So get creative. And again, further driving home the point, this is where I deliver this webinar from. So in my son's bedroom, amongst my husband's sports memorabilia, here we are getting work done. So any cozy little spot will do. So we've taken into account all of these other items, but the truth is that your accountability, it's the engine of your to-do list. We are 65% more likely to accomplish goals with an accountability partner. So it's just a fact that you're going to get more done when you have someone other than yourself asking you about it, checking in on it, and you feel and know that they're going to be doing these things. So you want to get it done. So if you haven't yet, create a network that you're checking in with on a regular basis. Create a list of 3 to 5 people you can connect with about progress on projects, questions about problems you've had during the day, someone to vent to, your favorite coworker to chat with, a client. Whoever it is, try to connect on video if possible. It's nice to see each other's faces. And there's still a human connection there, even though it's a little bit different these days. But if it's not possible and you're just looking for more of the office banter, of course, there's apps like Slack and Google Hangouts and WhatsApp that's able to mimic some of that that you do. A lot of meetings are happening online, so I just wanted to give a little shout out to Doodle and Calendly. Both are great options to avoid the back and forth on email, trying to find an hour or half hour that works for everyone. So I think we should just take a moment to reflect on the fact that this didn't happen 20 years ago when we were just starting to dabble in email and the internet was a new thing. And now we can run our entire businesses online. And it's rather remarkable, actually, how lucky we are and that I can even be sitting here talking today doing this. We're pretty lucky. So with that in mind, we're also using our computer for everything. And if it's disorganized, this means you're going to have a lot of wasted time looking for templates and documents and spreadsheets and logos and pictures, and the list is endless. So it's a good time to take stock of where these things are kept. Do you have assets that other people need on a regular basis? If so, set up a Dropbox or a Google Drive so that you don't have to continue sharing these. You can just share the whole folder and they have access to it. Another great tool to capture and share and organize your notes is Evernote. I use it constantly to capture all kinds of random ideas, and it's there when I need it. And if it's 6 months down the road that I need to tap back into that idea or look at those notes, they're there for me and ready, and I can access them or share them. One other thing I want to mention is a great app that I found called Gemini. It's a photo organizing app. And I mean, what I'm finding through my digital clutter is I have a lot of duplicate pictures. There's old downloads. My desktop was looking like an icon graveyard. So I cleaned it up, and Gemini was so great with photos because it recognized immediately duplicate, blurry, similar images. And I deleted about 2,000 pictures from my phone in 4 minutes. So that felt like a big win. I'm just going to quickly mention that if you do not online bank, then this is absolutely the time to start doing that. I see the lines at my bank, they're around the block. And just in general, it's a much more convenient way to bank with abilities to pay your bills and your credit card. You can set up auto payments, you can transfer funds, you can pay your friends for things, you can deposit checks, and you can do all of this from your phone. So I know most of us are online banking, but I just wanted to mention that. Um, Finally, I want to acknowledge that this is a stressful time. And so we do need to find ways to celebrate small wins. So if you're moving projects forward, if you're pivoting in new directions, if you're stepping back to reevaluate, wherever you find yourself in the process, ensure the small wins are celebrated and reward yourself. This doesn't have to be an extravaganza. You don't have to spend a ton of money. Just take a moment to do something you enjoy. Grab a cup of tea, step outside and enjoy the sunshine and the fresh air. Go for a small walk. I can tell you that one of my favorite ways to spend 10 minutes these days is on Duolingo. It's completely free and it's so much fun. I'm learning Spanish, and I can tell you that when we can travel again, I'm going to go show off my Spanish skills. They're getting pretty good. And you can see that they have me hooked because there's chain. I have a 30-day streak, which actually today was 32 and maybe even more by the time you watch this, because I enjoy that chain. I enjoy knowing how many days I've done something, and I absolutely don't want to break it because 32 days is pretty impressive. Another great way is journaling. So journaling is a great way to keep a running dialogue on small wins. We often forget the hard work and the struggle we face when we're accomplishing a goal. We just know that we've accomplished it. And these reminders are good to have documented and to look back on. So I use a simple app called Gratitude. I write about my day and most importantly, what I'm thankful for, but also my wins, my losses, my lessons. It's colorful, it's pretty. It has areas where you can write your own affirmations. It has this daily Zen section, kind of for motivation and different quotes. But there's a lot of options, including a paper and pen and the old-fashioned notebook that you can absolutely use. But find something, because that running dialogue on small wins is important and good to have to look back on now, but also down the road. Another fun idea that I've found is finding hashtags online, and these can be people you know, people you don't know, but finding other people showing gratitude and recognizing great things or small things, whether it's someone else or something they've done on their own, like setting their clock radio, which can be a giant win sometimes. So get online, even if it's not within your immediate group, you'll find other people and you can share wins and congratulate them on theirs. And it'll increase that social connection and that motivation. A huge thank you for taking the time today to go through this and to find tips and tricks. I hope you found it useful. I also want to remind you that I always offer free phone consultations. Now they're phone consultations to discuss your projects, anything specific that you're having hangups on or problems. I'd love to discuss them in more detail. So all of my contact information is here, and would love to hear from you soon.